All right, it is time for our panel, and we're talking this morning, media commentator Simon Pound. Simon, good to have you back again. Political commentator Laila Harre. Laila, great to have you in. All right, let's start by asking you, have you got, Laila, any road cones at home? Have you pinched any road cones?
No, not a single one. There's always road cones outside my house, though. I've got enough clutter.
Have you ever been tempted, though?
Never.
Never?
Never.
Simon?
I have been tempted to put them on the odd person's head.
See, or put them at the top of trees, or, people do that. For what reason, I do not know. There's something about a road cone that calls you, come hither.
It's a rite of passage, I think, and if you're doing it in your uni years or something, but if you're still doing it a little bit later, like a lot of things from then, you've really got to step back and take a look at yourself. It's just weird. So what you're saying then, Simon, is that if you walk into your garage... if you walk into your garage and there are 5 road cones stacked up there, it's a pretty sad indictment on your life. Well, it's showing that you have a serious problem.
Or it means that you organise frequent pickets. They are handy then.
Oh, and you're a picketer?
We used to have them in the garage at the National Distribution Union.
Were they pilfered or did you buy them?
Oh, I have no idea.
I bet that means they were pilfered.
I inherited them
You've inherited them from
generations
thieves.
of champions of workers.
Or scoundrels and thieves, whichever way you want to look at it. OK, let's talk about the money in the regions. This is the plan, which is trying to funnel money directly into the regions. This is offshore investment money. Simon, if it works, it has got to be a good idea, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, we're in danger of Auckland becoming as different from the rest of New Zealand as Sydney is from Australia is from New Zealand. And you know how that goes, we'll end up with the rest of the country hating Auckland.
We might already be there, actually.
The difference in opinions with Australia. So anything that can be done to keep investment flowing that way is a great idea.
Do you think, how close are we to that now? When you say we might end up like that, do you think we're quite close to that now? Because Auckland really is, it almost is like a different country, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's like New Zealand spends a lot of time thinking about Australia, but if you went down the street in Sydney and asked 100 people who our Prime Minister was, they wouldn't know, they just don't care about us. And I think that New Zealand's a bit like that. The rest of the regions think a lot about Auckland.
Okay, so for that reason alone, this is a good idea, Laila.
Yeah.
Well, I just think there's a total confusion in the public policy establishment over regional development. First of all, the government has failed miserably on the stuff it has been doing. If you look at the rollout of the Rural Broadband Initiative, again, they're talking about pouring millions and millions more into that, despite the fact that people are completely dissatisfied with the service they get. Every political party, other than the ones that are in the government now, had solid plans for regional development in the last election campaign.
So is that what we're seeing from National now?
I see Stephen Joyce now just floundering around for some way of engaging on this regional development issue. At the same time, we have whole lots of economists saying the key, and people who are involved in economic development saying the key to sort of future growth is to focus on the cities. So there is this huge sort of confusion, and to me this latest initiative is just another random intervention, bringing the bureaucracy together to have chats with potential investors and not dealing with the stuff that we need to do on the ground in the regions to make people healthy and happy.
It is vitally important that this happens too, because New Zealand is a small country. You don't want to drive...
Foreign investment drives this development.
Well, because it's free money. It's free money, isn't it?
No, it's not free money.
Why is it not?
Because every single dollar of profit, every single dollar of profit that's generated by that growth will be exported offshore. That will raise our current accounts deficit,
every single dollar that is spent here was money that was made in profit offshore.
Well, that's not true either.
So all of that money is coming straight in. That's what foreign investment is.
It's not profits that were made in the financial centres of the world. Yes, it might have been a profit from a poor-level factory in Bangladesh.
But you don't know that. You don't know that, Laila.
But they're not the profits
be profit from
of the
a main
financial establishment.
You don't know that.
Well, we do know how the world economy works. We do know that the financial system is in disarray, and we do know that by putting ourselves further into debt internationally, which is what foreign investment does.
Actually, it doesn't. Actually, the opposite is true. The opposite is is true with foreign
our
investment.
regional lives.
And I hear people talk about this all the time. Oh, the profits will fly offshore. The
Well,
whole
that's
thing
exactly
starts.
what's
The
happened.
whole thing starts with offshore profits being spent here. Simon, whose side are you on? And I don't want you to prevaricate. You're on my side or you're on Laila's side. Which way are you going to go?
The people's side will do.
I looked at the report saying that they're bringing in intelligent money, and then they said that they're getting it from Australia. And
all right, let's leave it there. I can't rely on you. Very quickly, let's talk about this ageing study. So we've got 1,000. This is the latitudinal study, which is longitudinal, which has been going for
It's not the weather.
umpteen years, since 1972. Specifically, what we're talking about now is the 38-year-old study. So they've looked at these. They were kids. They looked at these 38-year-old adults. They've looked at many different counters about their life and determined that some of them have a physical age of 30, some of them a physical age of 60.
It's an amazing study, and it's been happening in Dunedin across all these years, and now Harvard have stepped in and they're kind of leading it, and it's become the most cited study in the world, which is a really cool story in New Zealand. I looked at it and I kind of, before I had 3 kids, I felt a lot younger than I did, like it really does seem to ring true with me that you can...
How old are you?
I feel about 100, but
Right.
33.
33. Yeah, well, that would be extraordinary if you were actually had the physical characteristics of a
Yeah, but
100-year-old.
I can see that some people could feel a lot older than their age.
I mean, is it alarming, Laila? Do you sometimes think, am I older or younger than my actual years? I've started thinking it as a result of looking at this survey.
I think lots of us pay heaps of attention to how we feel and, how we can preserve a healthy life. This study is incredible because it's really a product of our collective investment in public health research and tertiary education, in a whole bunch of social infrastructure that allows us to develop our public policy. I think it's quite sad in a way that the studies had to rely more recently on international funding because
Foreign funding. Here we go
because New
again.
Zealand
Let's
has
get into this again.
under-resourced our tertiary system. So,
All right.
but it's great news
we will
for the
be
young
back
ones.
with our panel, Simon and Laila, very shortly.
Never gonna get too far away from the music. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof.
I mean, did Phil not hear me say I'm just so over that song? It's 28 minutes past 8. We're going to talk Pharrell's new song. Thank God he's got a new song with Charlotte Ryan, our music reviewer, before the end of the programme this morning. Anyway, welcome back. Great to have you with us. We're back with our panel, media commentator Simon Pound, political commentator Laila Harre. Right, we have sent 10 plus politicians. We've sent a prime minister, we've sent party leaders, we've got ministers of the Crown there at this rugby game. Is that entirely necessary? Have we blown this out of proportion, do you think, Simon?
Yeah, I think a lot of politicians, they just love to be recognised. Like they're in politics because they want to be recognised at the supermarket, present company excluded, of course. But a lot of people who are councillors and just do it on their name recognition. So this is their ideal event, the best thing that could happen to them.
I mean, so you're saying they're not necessarily there because they love rugby?
Yeah, they love being part of the pageantry. They love to be important.
Yeah, because it's a thing. What do you think, Laila?
I think it's great John Campbell's there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the guy who brought the All Blacks to Samoa.
Great job. Yeah, absolutely
and it's
great
fabulous.
job.
And a few MPs disappearing into the woodwork, into discussions with their counterparts in Samoa. I guess they can justify that. But, yeah, what a grand day it's going to be.
Oh, it is going to be fabulous, isn't it? It's going to be
Yeah.
fabulous for this region of the world, actually. I just have this issue that some of the politicians have felt it's necessary to say they're paying their own way, which of course they're not, because a politician can't pay their own way. Flicking a couple of $100 to the Air Force for a ticket or to buying a plane trip is not paying their way because they're actually employed to do a job, which they're not doing when they're offshore, in this instance.
That's although a lot of their job is slightly ceremonial,
Glad-handing.
going to things, but
Yeah.
it is their favourite kind of event. It's crazy that it's taken so long to go to Samoa, considering
And
the
I don't
reaction.
quite understand that. Do you know why that is, Jeff? Why is that? Why has it taken so long to get to Samoa?
Well, a lot of the All Blacks' money, the New Zealand Rugby Union's money, comes from games against England.
So you can't make much money over there?
Well, correct, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's it. It comes down to money. God, Laila, you could have predicted that, couldn't you? All right, Simon, Laila, thank you very much for joining us, our panel this morning. We will have you both back. Thank you very much.